And we should now be live. Good evening, everybody. Bear with me while I just sort out the audio levels. How am I coming through on the mic? Not too loud?
You can't ask me that.
Okay. Let me know, chat, if I'm too loud or the game is too quiet. Like I say, having recently got the PC back, we are still in the process of setting it up. Hello, Glitzbog. Saber is also here. Sazzy Stego is also here, and it has indeed been a while. So let me update you all as to what exactly happened. Nearly 2 weeks ago, on Wednesday, I started my computer up in the morning to edit together a video me and a friend had worked on. And my computer went straight to its BIOS screen telling me that it could no longer detect my SSD. And it turns out my SSD had died, which is what I have all of the Windows installation on. And so I couldn't start up the PC. So away it had to go back to the company that manufactured it, PC Specialist. And they confirmed that yes, your SSD had in actual fact died. It was, according to them, unrecoverable. So they had to put a new SSD into it. They gave me a slightly better SSD, better in terms of its read rate and its transfer rates, which was nice of them. And yeah, they sent it back to me in good time. Literally, all I did yesterday was getting it back ready to go for streaming today. So yeah, I'm very glad to have it back on today, the DLC day. And this is just going to be a fairly... Oh yeah, and me and Dane were also really quite hideously ill, and we both still are. So apologies for any coughing you might hear in the background. But the point of today's stream, I just want to go through, obviously because I missed the opportunity to go through the new DLC stuff and the free patch stuff in videos before it came out, I thought I would just go through it today live on stream with all of you. I'm just going to turn the game volume down ever so slightly because that was even loud for me. And I thought we'd start with having a look at the animals. So let's start with the obvious biggest one, Dinosaurs. So I'm not an immense fan of Dinosaurs as a dinosaur. But I have to say, this model of it is very nice. Look how fuzzy it is. It's like a giant furry anteater. Anteaters.
That's what I was thinking.
Anteaters are furry anyway, aren't they?
Yes.
Yes. So yeah, I love it. Looks good. This is the basic skin. So let's turn the patterns off and just have a look at the colors. All pretty standard colours. Ooh, that one's quite a nice... That's quite exotic. Let's have a look. Fluorescent lime green. White and black. That's the kind of... charcoal grey that's very familiar. I would hug the tail. It does have a very huggable looking tail. Very fuzzy and fluffy. The red is quite... not sure on the green head, but I like the red. And then we have, basically, if you want to turn it into a ginge. And don't let it get burnt in the sun. And, ooh, I think this is probably my favourite. This sort of... green melding into this sort of off yellow. It reminds me of how sloths can have algae and stuff growing on them because they are so slow. So let's have a look at patterns. So it looks like Rana adds black stripes with a white hump. Which looks fairly nice. Kalkrana is black hump with white stripes, so it's basically the opposite way around. I think I prefer Rana to Kalkarana, actually. Maybe. Lithobates, what is white stripe with a semi-green hump and brown. That's a very complex color. I mean, if I just remove Lithobates, that's very complex in terms of its coloration. Kind of like it. Oh, and it also does stuff on the tail. Look at that, I didn't know that. Very nice. Pulcrana just seems to be black. Oh, black and grey, which doesn't really show up too much. So if you just wanted black stripes without a hump color, basically that's Pulcrana. Papyrana is blood red stripes with a sort of orange hump, which looks really beautiful. I like on the black. That's very cool. That's potentially my favourite so far. His PC is back right on time. It is indeed Evolution Square. Lucky for that. And, ooh. Okay. Warp Plasma Blue. That's definitely my favourite. That's maybe not my favourite in all of the colour schemes, but on the black, that Warp Plasma Blue comes through really nicely. That's beautiful. Doesn't really work on... Well, you get a nice kind of a purple on the ginge. But yeah, I think on black, that's really nice. And obviously, if you wanted to do sexual dimorphism with these, you could just have males with the color and have the females without the color, or you could do Rana as the male and potentially just Pulcrana as the female. So the males get the color and the stripe, and the females just get the stripe. So Rana and Pulcrana, or just do a pattern for a male and a no pattern for a female. But yes, the Dinocyrus, very nice. Let's go on to our next species, which was the one that's most difficult to say. Holopterus. Hang on, doesn't Control give me? Shouldn't it say it for me?
It's so small.
Maybe not. J Holopterus. Is it a silent J? Because I would have thought it was. Like I thought, or is it like a Swedish J where it's actually
they say J apparently according to Evo.
In the game they say J Holopterus. Okay. I mean that's how it's written, I suppose. It is tiny. How are we gonna... Shall we have it flying? Oof dear.
I want 7.
Oh, we don't have slow-mo in this mode. That's unfortunate. Ooh. Let's catch it at a slightly different point in time. There we go. And let's change the lighting so we can actually see what we're doing. That's probably as good as we're gonna get it, like that.
Reminds me of a butterfly.
It does. The patterning on the wings, especially. So let's remove the pattern. So that's our standard look. I have to say, it's the most adorable looking thing. Although it does remind me a bit of the Pogs from the Disney trilogy that no one wants to remember. Not sure on the horns. That kind of makes it look like a gremlin, but it is adorable. Is it as adorable as Hermanocephalus? I feel like there may have to be a Evo. You may have to do some sort of poll to be like, you know, what is now the cutest creature in the game? J. Helopterus, Hermanocephaly, or the others. because this is definitely going to be up there. Let's see if there's any... Wow. That's really nice. Looks like a flying squirrel.
Damn it.
Chaplin Valley is also really nice. That is not a bad idea. Well, feel free to steal it, Hero. Beautiful white. The black is very vampire batish.
It has red eyes.
Svalbard. What even color would you? It is that actually blue? It's like a very dark navy blue
That is blue-gray.
blue battleship grey, isn't it? Weird color, that one. Wow, that's fluorescent.
I like it. It's in my color.
Oh, so you can have it in pink or purple, or a sort of a lime green. Nice. Right, so what are the patterns? So Rana adds... What did that even do?
It's giving it eyes.
Okay, so each pattern adds color into the wing and stripes. So Rana is what, blue, battleship grey with black stripes. And it really does remind me of butterflies.
It has eyes.
Which one does it look the best in?
Obviously red.
No, I actually think it looks the best in that one. I just think that looks really nice. Beautiful. Whoa! Blimey! So, basically this turns it into a monarch butterfly. So you've got black colouring on the wing and then the red stripes over it. Am I red with black stripes or black with red stripes? That looks beautiful. Oh. You know, if this was going to be like the pet creature of Darth Vader or Emperor Palpatine, it would just literally... It would be that. It would be... Here it is. It's even got little red horns. Oh! This is Sith, but this is Sith pterosaur right here. It's black. It's got red stripes. It's Darth Maul's pet pterosaur. Stunning. Don't get so much on the undersides.
Well, you have no light on there.
That's true, but I can't even see any hint of her. You get some... You get like a bit of pattern, but not much. Yeah, Sith pterosaur right there. Stunning. I mean, I don't think you'd have it in any other colour but the black. I mean, that's it right there. Hello, Rami. And hello, Goofy. Lithobates is green and the grey. Not as massive a fan of this one, although it does look good on... You know, the base colours, so this is the sort of the light white and light greys. Looks good on the white, actually. Not sure I like it on the black as much. Kind of goes with the lime green colour, though. Just like how decorative these skins are. I wish every dinosaur had skins this decorative. The sauropods especially, like... Considering how big sauropods are, they're the biggest fucking billboards you can have in your park, and they have such terribly boring skins. Why is it that Leviathan and LA Studios are the only people who can make a good-looking sauropod? Pulcrana. What did that... What? Did Pulcrana actually even...
They are a lot bigger than they appear.
Sorry?
They're a lot bigger than they appear. Apparently their wingspan's like 91 centimeters.
A 1 meter wingspan for J. Helopterus. I mean... I know Agnorognathus, which is another Agnorognathid, which is what J. Helopteruses are, And that's a lot of words in a sentence. I know that Agnoragnathids were basically the smaller variety of pterosaur, but that's quite big. Yeah, not sure on this pattern. I mean, I like the blue, but apart from that, it's kind of bland. Ooh, the pink and white. I actually quite like that on this skin. I actually quite like that.
It's like electric pink.
You know, I don't generally go for like the pink dinosaur skins. There is a supremely disgusting Allosaurus skin, which is pink and lime green, and I think it's the most revolting thing I've ever seen. I've actually, in my big spreadsheet database, I've actually put it under the column, looks like it's got a disease. Which is not nice, but it's not exactly wrong either. Are you going to build a park in this stream? Goofy, I'm just going to be basically going over what my plans are. We're going to go through the whole DLC, look at everything it added, look at all the free stuff, and then I'm going to go into what I'm going to do over the next couple of weeks, because obviously we are now 2 weeks behind. So consider this a sort of a catch-up stream. We are going to do some park building, because obviously we have some new bits and bobs to show off. So we will do some elements of park building. So yeah, not a massive fan of the pink, but ooh, you know what? That works. On the purple.
Purple and pink.
The purple and the pink goes with the pink.
It kind of works with red as well.
And Pelophylax is what? Black with a sort of iridescent blue-green sheen. Again, it's nice, looks good, looks really good on the black actually, that iridescent sheen. But I think for this one, the best one has got to be the black and the red. This is definitely the best color for the patterns for me. So I shall be using that quite a bit. Next one is our S one, isn't it? Sinosauropteryx. When I first saw this, I actually thought it was Syntarsus, but no, it's Sinosauropteryx. It's so bushy. It's like a red panda, but dinosaur form. I mean, even coloration and the striping and everything. That's basically a red panda. Fletcher, when will you next be streaming COD Zombies? Not for a couple of weeks or so. I probably want to focus on doing some Jurassic World content since I've missed out on some things. But I will play it again. It's funny that they added a raccoon dinosaur and literal trash in the same update.
I was going to say, this looks more like a raccoon with the posture.
Well, if I was going to title this update anything, it wouldn't be the raccoon and trash update. It would be the map update, but we'll get to the maps in a minute. So again, really cute skins. Grey is nice. Black, grey. A lot of grey here. Like, there's not much difference between Yukon River grey and Great Sandy Desert grey. Or even Svalbard grey. That's a bit of a disappointment. In fact, Svalbard grey and Great Sandy Desert grey are almost identical apart from some light tan on the underside. So that's a bit of a disappointment. Bit lazy. That's curious. So I've got a pink sheen to it. Ooh. I really like the red. I like the red. Hello, Escaros. How are you doing? Dane and Triclaw game. Are you Dane? No, we are not Danish. We're all British.
I'm Irish.
Dane is Irish-British, but we're all technically British. Right, let's have a look at colours. So, Rana is white stripes and a black face mask. Kind of standard. Calcarana, oh, so the face mask is pretty much the same colour. Calcarana is just yellow stripes, which don't really show up too well. So that one's a bit disappointing. Lithobates, black stripes, which again are not very well defined. I have to say, bit of a disappointment in terms of the patterns here.
The tail stripes don't change color.
Tail stripes aren't changing color either. What's this one? Was that Litho? No, Pulcrana just makes the black more... And you've got a little color above the eye, but in general, quite bland. I mean, this one, again, it's just changed the color of the eye, and the stripes are not very well defined. Pelophylax, purple eye, and very ill-defined stripes again. Disappointing there. I feel that the opportunity was missed for some very nice combinations, because really the only ones worth having are Pulcrana, maybe Calcarana, and Rana. I think Rana is probably the nicest and the one that's going to work on as many of the skin colours as possible. So Sinosauropteryx, not a favourite, I'm afraid. But does look cute with that bushy tail, not table.
This is just the fluffy tail update.
This is a fluffy tail update. And the last one is the Eutyrannus. And wow, look at that. That's the default skin. It is a carnivorous zebra with brilliant blue-red horns. I don't know very much about Eutyrannus, I have to say. It might have to be the next Beyond the Park video I do at some point, just so I can learn about it as well. Let's remove the pattern. So as standard, wow. Like the Sonoran Desert, like the Death Valley. Great Sandy Desert, nice grey, Chaplin. Some nice colours here. The white is probably really nice. I think that would work quite well on a polar exhibit if you were going to do, say, on a Canada map or Taiga or Alpine map if you were doing polar dinosaurs. The white Eutyrannus could easily be a polar bear. Ooh, I really like that. That sort of mix of green and sort of a light pinkish. That's really nice. So, Rana is black striping with blue horns and red head. Looks beautiful. Definitely looks the best on the white, I think. But pretty much goes with any combination. That's glorious. Like that. Pretty much goes with every colour. Calcarana. So we kind of got a muddy, bogey-coloured head and horns, which is not particularly nice. The stripes are basically black, but a lighter black. Again, works well in the white. Doesn't really work with all of the colours. There's a few there here that are a bit bland. Lithobates. So we got bogey coloured horns again. Pink head. And what, the stripes are red? Reddish brown. It kind of works. Again, looks the best in the white. Wouldn't say it works especially well on Amazon rainforest or Gambia River because the stripes are a bit undefined. Oh, is that Eutyrannus on Ark Survival Evolved?
Nope.
No?
That's Anjanath from Monster Hunter.
Oh. Why are you mentioning him?
They are identical.
Pulcrana. So Pulcrana adds white stripes and pink horns. Not as big a fan of the white and pink. Works with the Amazon rainforest though. And works quite well on Gambia, I think. Yeah, nice. Hello, Dinosaur King. Papurana gives us brilliant purple horns and blue on the head. and also the white stripes, so it's not really going to be that much different to Paul Krana. Again, Frontier doing an overwhelmingly good job there with their colour swatches. Seriously, who at Frontier looked at this colour swatch system and said, yeah, that works. We're just going to have two that are basically the identical same colour, and we're not actually going to indicate to you what the colour actually does. For someone who lives with somebody who is colourblind,
I can't see a difference.
there is no, that I can see there is a slight difference between Pulcrana white and Papurana white, but it doesn't correlate with the change in the colour on the dinosaur at all. So it's like, what the hell is the point of that?
It looks slightly dusty, that's it.
Why didn't they just make each swatch a picture of the dinosaur in the colour, or why didn't they just do that? Anyway, rant over. Pelophylax looks like it's black stripes with my Fletcher green on the face. So obviously, Pelophylax is just clearly the best. Yeah, really nice. So all three, my opinion, the Eutyrannus, very good. The Dinocyrus, very good. The J. Holopterus, very good. The only one I am a little bit disappointed with is the Sinosauropteryx. Solely because I think the patterns they don't change enough between each one. And some of them are basically worthless because they just don't show up very well at all. So Sinosauropteryx is a disappointment, but the rest absolutely brilliant. And it's always nice to have some more feathered. I'm going to go back to menu. It's always nice to have some more feathered dinosaurs in the game. Although I do have a question about this that I want to raise towards the end before I go. Well, in actual fact, I'll raise it now, since there's quite a few of you here. Obviously, this is a Jurassic World game, and the more recent dinosaurs we've had, especially the feathered ones, are definitely leaning on the more accurate, paleontologically wise side of the reconstruction. And we have to call them reconstructions because all the dinosaurs as depicted in the game, these are all interpretations of the evidence with a Jurassic World flair. And that's the thing. Yes, it's nice to have more feathered dinosaurs, but as an open question to you guys watching, do you think that Jurassic World Evolution, being that it's a Jurassic World game, should have lots of accurate dinosaurs, or should the dinosaurs in Jurassic World Evolution be in the spirit of Jurassic Park and Jurassic World's depictions and not necessarily hyper accurate? Because there are a lot of animals in Jurassic World, Jurassic Park, and in this game that are nowhere near accurate in their depiction at all. But that makes sense, considering Jurassic Park and Jurassic World weren't trying to be accurate. So, as an open question to you guys in chat, what do you guys think? Do you think, yes, we want more accuracy in Evolution 2? Or would you prefer dinosaurs more in the spirit of the property and less accurate? Or do you think there's room for both? Sarcastically says, I think if they're going to give us dinosaurs that aren't in the franchise, then they might as well go with accuracy. If they're in the franchise, they should be as they are in the franchise. That's a good point. Goofy Goof says, hyper-accurate dinosaurs would be cool, but they would be out of place compared to the other creatures. That's also a good point, Goofy. Sassy Stego isn't really bothered either way. I'm not asking if it bothers you, Sassy. I'm asking what your opinion is. Would you take more accuracy or more Jurassic Park sort of style? Your choice. Dinosaur King says, honestly, I like Jurassic World Evolution 2 you Tyrannus over Ark's Tyrannus, which was not really the question I was asking, Dinosaur King. I was asking, what out of the two options do you think is best? Sassy would definitely go with probably more accuracy. As someone who can't tell accurate from bullcrap, I'm not overly bothered which way they go. Escara says, I'm fine with either. I like speculative designs where they go all in on the making distinct models. I also like more accuracy, but accurate dinosaurs might not fit the high security fences. Because the other thing you have to think about is if you want a game with accurate dinosaurs, you'd probably want to go to Prehistoric Kingdom. Hello, Predator. And actually, this is another thing I've been thinking about when looking at these more accurate dinosaurs coming. Is this Jurassic World, is this Frontier trying to, see what Prehistoric Kingdom was doing and kind of, we can do that as well with our dinosaur game? Is there an element of that, do we think? Just a dishwasher. I like the good balance they're giving us in franchise versus accuracy, but I prefer franchise designs. I mean, with the 30th anniversary coming up, they have the opportunity here to perhaps do some franchise stuff. The camouflaging Carnotaurus springs instantly to mind. So, I think... from a personal level, I don't mind there being a mix of both. As long as the more accurate designs are still sort of in keeping with the overall film of the game, so that they're not like horrifically accurate. More vivid skins and patterns. I'm very much a vivid skins and patterns person over the general look of the dinosaur, which is why I don't really like using sauropods in my parks of any sort apart from Alamosaurus, because it's the only one whose skin and patterns are actually half decent. Totally different gaming experience. I don't need to try and poach people from PK. That's true. It's their attempt to appeal to both dinosaur fans and Jurassic Park fans, mixing accuracy and a touch of JP into it, yeah. My problem is, if we add accurate dinosaurs, they will stick out like a rose in a lava field. If PK added a Jurassic Park style animal to their game, everyone would notice and hate it. That's true. I'd love the Sabertooth from Camp Cretaceous. Well, the Sabertooth was a robot, wasn't it? As much as I remember. It wasn't even a real animal, so... I would like it if they went like Prehistoric Planet, where they kept it realistic, but also some speculative flair like they did with the Dreadnoughtus. Yeah, Escaros, that's kind of what I would want. Some accuracy, but also a little madness. I could go with either versions. A nice blend of accuracy and inaccuracy seems like the right place to go to me. As long as the creature looks interesting and unique, that's all I care about. And yeah, and that's a good point, Glitzborg, As long as the animal looks good, that's more important, I think. I would agree with you there. Right, let's move on to what the big thing that is this patch, and this was all of the maps. This is the map DLC for me, which is, I was going to actually do a video on if there was going to be a map patch, what would I want to see. We're not going to look at the square levels yet. I'm going to start with down here, because we have new versions of some traditional maps. So San Marie Bay, the Natural Lagoon map, has a new version called the Expanded Layout. Obviously, before we go, we have had some new features as well. So we finally have unlimited feeder reserves. Why did it take them so long to add a feature? How long has the game been out? A year and 3 months? 4 months? Something along those lines? So about 16 months. And we've only just received a feature that they added to Jurassic World Evolution 1. That, for me, seems really bizarre. Did Frontier fire the guy that added it as a feature to JWE 1 and they just totally forgot about it? I don't honestly know why it was so difficult for us to get unlimited feeders. I don't understand. Hot take, they padded out the update with stuff they purposely kept back. Perhaps sarcastically. So we do finally have that. I know there's a couple of other ones we have in gameplay, so we can now have wild capture modes, which is something I wanted them to add but never got around to doing a video on, because I wanted to do a park where we just fill it with the dinosaurs we rescue, because I think that would be quite an interesting way of building a park, because obviously you're going to be building as those dinosaurs get discovered around the world. The park itself, no real massive differences here apart from like an income tax thing. And environment, we now have an option to select decoration foliage. We can either have all or current. What's this terrain normal? Oh, right, yes, so if you're... That's the flattened or unflattened, isn't it? Cleared of trees and stuff. I was confused about that. Right, let's have a look then of the expanded San Marie Bay. I want an option where it constantly rains. I think an option for some specific weather patterns would be nice. So, you know, a winter mode where you get lots of snow, or a autumn mode where you get lots of rain, or even just give us the option in capture mode of setting a weather pattern. Would be quite nice. So, the new San Marie map. So the natural lagoon would have been here. So this area here is where the natural lagoon would have been. And then, no, it would be here, wouldn't it? This little area here. And then you would have this little patch up here to build on as well. Well, now we have so much more space. We have... This reminds me very much of Isla Sorna on the first game. You have a big block in the middle, and then you have a thin route round to another block, and then a thin route round to another block, and then a thin route round to another block. But that's so much more territory with some really big terrain height differences, so your park is going to look really interesting. It's... You know, I almost think they could have kept the lagoon. Like, they could have kept the lagoon and just given us more space. I don't know whether it's a performance issue that they don't want to have the lagoon and then this much space. I mean, maybe it is a performance thing. But I reckon they could have kept the lagoon and had the rest of it, but... This might have to be a build for me, although I don't know what I would put in here. There's so much space. And that's something else about all these new maps that we've had. They're huge. I don't know how I'm going to fill a park up on them. How funny would it be if hurricanes could actually pick up your creatures and throw them into buildings or monorails? Well, they used to be able to do that on Jurassic Park Operation Genesis. And it isn't French in itself. I think San Marie is an island in the Mediterranean. I don't know. I'd have to go and look that up. Righto, sarcastically. Let's go and load up the next one. So San Marie Bay without the lagoon. Definitely like. Next is California. So California, we have a new version, the expanded layout. I think yeah, it's obviously a fictional island, but I think it is based off of, I think it's supposed to be Sardinia. So the new version of the California map, I actually know this one quite well because I was building a Japanese style park here, and then I couldn't go further because I use mods in that park which weren't updated ever. So there used to be like a mountain sort of here where this patch of trees is. That's gone, and we actually have access to a lot more of the terrain now. It's not too much more than we would have had normally. This mountain has always been here, but just by removing the mountain in the middle, they've definitely opened it up a lot more. I also think this area up here is actually higher than it used to be. I don't remember ever it being that tall. Yeah, it's, again, nice to have lots of area to build. But again, I think if you're playing, especially without mods, this map I think is going to be very challenging because there's quite a lot. If you look at this is the lowest point of the map, these trees here. There's quite a big height difference between the top and bottom ends of the map, so you're going to be doing a lot of plateauing and a lot of flattening here. So without mods, you're going to lose quite a lot of building space to do that. But on the other hand, I quite like the idea of having this upper area just being full of dinosaurs in like a tour, because it's so much taller than everything else. You'd always be able to see it from where you are. So yeah, again, another nice new version of an existing map. And there was two more. There's two more modified versions of existing maps. So we've got San Diego. I'm going to have another slurp of tea while this loads in.
Caribbean.
Sorry?
It's an island based on the archipelago of the Caribbean.
Oh, so San Maria is based on a Caribbean island. Okay. Goofy goof, the only thing we need now is mod support from Frontier. I think it takes a brave man at Frontier to suggest that because they've been so stoically against mods and mod support. So basically all the expanded version of the San Diego map does is it removes the strange mountain range in the middle, which is nice, but I kind of liked that mountain range in the middle because you had a clear separation between one area of the island, of the park, and these two other islands. Now you've just basically got an Among Us shaped mass to use, and yet you don't have the amphitheater either. I would have liked a version of this map with the amphitheater still there. But that being said, this does give us some nice opportunities to perhaps have the amphitheater. I mean, I actually have the amphitheater somewhere. There we go. It gives us the opportunity to perhaps, I'm just going to stick one down, to have the amphitheater in a more interesting location, perhaps. With the sea behind. Which is the thing I'm also thinking about when I look at these maps. You know, how am I building on them? Is there any sort of natural order to building on them? Obviously, these two horns make perfect sense to be guest areas, like you put the hotels along the back, or turn them into end exhibits, or have them as the entrance areas, so have a helipad here and a helipad here, join them up in the middle. So yeah, I like this version. I would have liked a version with the amphitheater, and obviously if you're not using maps, you can't build the amphitheater. I think that's still a thing we are missing from Sandbox in the base game. Let us build the amphitheater wherever and whenever we want. Righto, Sassy. And obviously the last version is the canyon map, which I never really used. So all it's done really is it's removed the strange sort of jiggly wobbly bit at this end, and it's just flattened the whole thing out and removed all of those plinths. I mean, it's nice to have an easier map to build on, but again, kind of a bit boring because we're missing all of those pillars and stuff that you can build around. We're going to have to add them in ourselves. So out of all of the expanded versions of the traditional map, I think San Diego and San Marie Bay, I think, are my two favorites. Now, we obviously also have these square levels. We got 9 of them. We've already seen the Isla Nubla one, so I'm not going to put that one on. So let's go and have a look at the California version. These square maps are an interesting addition. However, I can see some problems with them, which we'll look at. We will talk about after we've had a look at them. So this is straight. Wow, that's like a really steep drop off there. Wow, that's strange. What have we got in the background though? We got a lot of mountains in the backgrounds here. So that's the big thing about these square maps. They're going to be square and flat. So the appeal of them is what's in the background. The waterfall is quite nice on this map. And, you know, there's a waterfall, glacial waterfall here with a nice plunge pool. So there's some nice environmental touches here. And a lot of space. Now, there is something I want to test. Let's grab a building. Oh. Okay, that's good. So while I was thinking about these square maps, I was wondering whether they were going to be square on the angles of snapping. And they are. We can see here that that is perfectly 100% straight. So as long as you align your park building along the snap angles, you can get some really nice symmetry and stuff. So let's go and have a quick look at all of the other square maps. But I feel that they're all going to be pretty similar. What's our desert one? Looks like it's... So it is called San Diego, so... I am seeing some laziness here. So all they've done is they've basically flattened out the conventional maps, gotten rid of so much of the outer landscape. I mean, I think we can see that here, that they've just chopped it down. Interesting, we don't have that mountain range at the end, so we actually get a much nicer view of San Diego itself and the bridge and the docks as a result here. So that's quite nice. Get to see a bit more of the city. And obviously we have the sea on this map, which is, again, going to be a nice touch for building. Again, enormous. I mean, how are you going to fill this area? Let's have a look at the next map. Sadly, these maps are not on a water level. So, I'll talk about that in a minute, Escaros, as well, because you do raise a good point. Let's have a look at Autumn, which is basically a square version of Germany. Oh, wow. So, completely removed all of the terrain. We don't have a beach, but we do have these wonderful white cliffs, which are very Dover-esque. We obviously have the ocean again. I like the cliffs. Bit sad that we don't get to use the beach. I think we could have had this. We could have had a two level split, but then I suppose it wouldn't be square and flat then, would it? Yeah, it's all right. I wish there was a way to actually like load each one in. Let's just load the square map in and then select one. Temperate is basically Germany, just with different colored trees. Canada. Let's have a look. Expanded islands with these expanded maps will be crazy. Well, I think that's why they've done this. I think they are. This is basically going to neuter the requirement for expanded islands. You don't need it now. Canada. So we've basically got this sort of low plateau with so much water and mountains around it. Again, nice in the background. I know this is going to sound really stupid. It is quite horrifically squared, though, isn't it? It doesn't look natural. Which I know, again, sounds like a stupid thing to say. These are supposed to be square maps. But it doesn't. It stands out as being very unnatural in look around the edges. I think they could have done more around the edges to make it look less unnatural. Because this is obviously the standard Canada map, because we would actually be standard Canada's central map is basically here. And you can even see where the old terrain texture used to be here, and they've just flattened it and forgotten to remove it. So it's obvious what they've done with some of these maps. It's quite a quick way of making a new map. Here comes Fletcher. Hello, Theropoda. You just need to make the square itself less flat. Well, that's true. It will probably look better once you actually start doing terrain work. Bias in Sanctuary. I wonder if we're going to have the bias in building somewhere. Doesn't look like it. So this map completely removes the river and also removes the bias in building, which I'm almost a bit sad about. Also, what is that at the back there? And it's nothing. It's not even. Where are? Because there, you are supposed to be able to see the dam, aren't you? So this is not, or is that the dam up there? I know that on the original Biosyn map, you're supposed to be able to see the dam. And the fact I cannot see a dam makes me think this is not... that this is actually a newly constructed map. But I kind of miss having the Biosyn building and the river. I'm glad there is not a building since it does not fit in if you're using another building era. That's a good point, actually. That's a very good point. Sierra Nevada I'm not going to bother with because I don't play on the snow map. Let's have a look at the Mediterranean one. So this is just a version of San Albertus Peninsula. At least we have the town and the fortifications here in shot, which is a nice backdrop. We're quite low to the water level. We're even lower to the water level than we are on the original version of this map. So, you know, we get some good shots of the islands and the ocean beachfronts. But herein lies the problem. These aren't really square maps. These are hyper flattened these are existing maps that have been completely flattened and turned into squares like the old expanded parks used to do. And I'm not sure I like that. I was kind of expecting the square maps to be unique in some respects, to have their own unique backgrounds or their own unique, you know, areas around it, their own unique oddities. There aren't. So, while they make a very good blank canvas, I think for a lot of people they're going to be too blank. I think a lot of people are going to struggle to build on maps this big and this featureless. People like me and Evo will be fine because we will build our own landscape into it. But for a majority of people, I think this is almost too much space, too little direction. The other problem I have is how optimized is this going to be? This is a very, very big area. Probably, I would say, bigger than any of the large maps on the standard game. And exactly, Goofy. You will not, I don't think physically you'll be able to build in its entirety. It would crash the game, I think. And I think for people who mod, it's also going to be something we're going to have to think about, because I reckon you would very quickly get to a point where this park will become unplayable. So good for people like me and Evo who want a blank canvas to construct our own landscape in, you know, do our own island shapes in. Yeah, best thing you can do is waste a ton of space, exactly. Also good if you want to make like a square park, which I may have to do now we have square maps, is make an entirely square park. But I think there are going to be problems with these. And I don't think people are going to have them as their favorites. I think they're going to probably have the traditional maps as favorites. Anyway, since we're here, let's have a look at the new buildings. I'm going to build just a quick... I really don't like the Mediterranean color. Sorry. Let me switch it to Jurassic World, please. Was it Jurassic World? Oh, it didn't do it, did it? Jurassic World. Oh, that's so much nicer. Get rid of that horrible green tinge over everything. Right. I'm going to just build a quick square so we can play around with some of the new building stuff. By the way, for people who do play with mods, most of Kai's mods are still working. So the building specific mods, free build, that sort of thing, they will work. ACSC still does work. New species do not work. Model replacement mods do not work. Mods that add new structures and stuff don't work, but they are being updated. I think 2 of the big ones have been updated already. And obviously any of Kai's mods that does scenery related things, so expanded scenery, paleobotany mod, etc., also don't work because of the changes to foliage. So keep that in mind. This is going to... I need to make sure it stays at daytime, don't I? Day. Right, so new bits and bobs that they've given us. I don't think there's anything new in operations. No. Although, actually, something I was looking at earlier, has the Expedition Center for the DFW, is that new? I don't remember this building. I don't remember this building. Or at least I don't remember it looking like this. Or maybe it's just been too long. I actually quite like the design of this building, including the little air traffic control tower on top, but I don't remember looking like that. But yeah, nothing new in operations. Enclosures, we obviously have the insect feeder. And so we can see what it looks like working, I'm just going to quickly build a little aviary exhibit. Might as well. We can have a look at Yay-Hiloropterus. I need the aviary hatchery. Now, apparently, you can now transport animals out of a hatchery, the aviary hatchery, by aircraft, if you want to release them into the wild. Or hopefully, I would hope that means we can transfer them from one hatchery to another. Shall we actually do that as a test experiment? Let's let us experiment and see what happens. I'm obviously going to need to build a park entrance, otherwise it's going to be complaining at me. There we go. So, let's just quickly make some Yay-Hiloropterus. Let's make them random. Oh, they come in packs of 7. I'm going to expand this aviary slightly, just so we have plenty of space. Now, I hope that now we have insect feeders that are actually, they'll add the insect feeding to other animals, such as the Archaeornithomimus and stuff like that, because it is pretty much, as you know, most scientists believe they would have eaten both insects and plants and seeds and stuff. So it would be nice for them to do something like that. Let us build our insect feeder. It's a strange... let's go to capture mode. Oh yes, of course, we now have this new version of it where we can look at different stuff. But I just want to have a look at how this actually looks. So it's kind of just like rotting food and stuff to attract, I would guess, butterflies and moths. It's one way of doing it. I personally would have made something that doesn't look so, you know, like a sewer drain. I would have perhaps made it something a bit like, I don't know, actually. Maybe like an anthill or something. Something that's a little more natural. Check out the animations with the dinosaurs. I probably won't get round to it, but we'll do our best. How much FPS do you call playable minimum? I try to get every game running at 60 FPS as much as possible. That's my minimum target. I don't mind if it drops slightly below, sort of 50, 45. Anything lower than 30, cannot stand. And I used to be a console gamer, but I can't stand low FPS anymore. Anyway, let's release our Yay Heloropterus. They're so small. Ugh, they are tiny. I mean, one thing I would say about the pterosaurs in Jurassic World Evolution 2 is I think they flap too much. They don't glide enough for my liking. Oh, are we going to have... Is one of them coming down to use the feeder straight away? No, he's just coming down to land. He's having an itch. Adorable. They are cute. I want to see one of you use the feeder because I'm curious to see whether you're gonna like land or whether you... Because they're trying to catch flying insects, so I would assume they would chase them. No, you are going to land. Oh, you land and then you do like a little attack thing. Okay. Can we... How do we add... Oh, shift control. No. How do we add slow-mo to this? That's the cinematic camera. Oh, manual. What? Any ideas, chat? How do you change the... I thought that we have slow-mo now. Down right.
With the rest of the speed buttons.
No, these are all fast forwards. There's no slow-mo here. Oh, is that slow-mo? That's strange. Why didn't they just put one... Okay, there we go. That's better. So it's... They kind of attack and grab one out of the air after landing. A bit like most little birds do. It's a cool little animation. Quite active. Nice. Okay. Let's now do our experiment. So I'm going to breed Baradaclus, make one, release via airlift. Ah, so we can't deliver them to other aviary hatcheries. Oh no, you can. How do they actually pick them up? Oh, look at that. That's quite cool. It comes out the doors in the top. And then obviously drops off into the doors over here. Will that mean it automatically releases? Yeah, automatically releases into the cage. So using that method now, we can obviously, it's going to be a lot easier to do aviary hatcheries now, because you only need the one, and you can just deliver it straight in and then destroy that particular hatchery. So that's nice. I'm just going to give my Baradaclus something to eat so he doesn't complain at me. Wrong fish feeder. There you go. Okay, so what else was new? Nothing else new here, attractions-wise. But would you give up a park when it drops below 30 FPS because you said anything below is not playable? Would I give it up? Probably not. I would just reduce the graphic settings slightly to try to keep the FPS up. So we obviously have our new versions of the zipline. So the DFW version and the Jurassic Park version. The Jurassic Park version is obviously very nice. It suits with the overall style of Jurassic Park. I like the fact it's a square building, so we can do symmetry with it. DFW building. I mean, how would you... What would you say if you were building a DFW facility? How would you argue, yes, having a zip line is really important to our DFW facility? I suppose you could argue it's like you could have it as part of a training course. Maybe you have like a little athletics area for your DFW operatives or your ACU teams to train with, and that you use it as part of the training, maybe. It's just still strange to see. So, but it's nice to have them in other building eras, especially for those people on last gen consoles, or if you're building in a particular era. Now, obviously, our big ones are the log viewing gallery and the dome. So I'm going to... Okay, that's tunnel. So let's build some entrances first. Okay, so entrances snap to the edge of paths. That's interesting. I'm going to build one version of each entrance. And then we're going to build a couple of enclosures. Just quickly. So this one is going to connect to there, this one is going to connect to here, this one is going to connect to here. So let's have a look at them first. The dome. It's a bit disappointing we don't... Hello, Caleb. A bit disappointing that we don't have a unique dome design for each era. This dome is pretty standardized as part as the design goes. But I think it would have been nice to have a unique touch for each particular building era. I also don't understand why they've put this enormous bar in the way, because it really does mess up viewing. I noticed that on their stream. This bar really messes up the view that we get. I don't understand why. Just put it a little lower. That's all they needed to do. But yeah, so the dome is a nice touch, and it's about time we had the JPOG domes back. The log is a super cool touch. What's going on here, though? Oh, we have like a ladder here. I really like the log. I think it looks really quite cool. Although, how would you say people are getting in there?
Having a ladder.
There's no obvious lift. In fact, if we have a look, we show view, and then I think if I do Alt F2, I can't switch to Ansel because I haven't, because I went into the dinosaur. I went into the dinosaur thing beforehand. There's no obvious like guest area to like lift shaft or anything. It's just basically two very secure looking doors. So, excuse me one moment while I just turn this off because it keeps sticking up. Can I just turn you off? Thank you. But yeah, the log is definitely my favorite, and obviously if you're going to use mods, you could easily, probably about there-ish, or maybe, probably about there, phase two into each other to make a slightly longer structure that's not so short and obvious. You could definitely hide those exits and entrances. Let's get rid of that one. The tunnel entrances themselves, pretty standard little block buildings. Jurassic Park one is, I think, my favorite out of the three. Hello, Nerd Guy. Yeah, all going well. No big issues. Sink the log into the ground to make it more natural. That's a good point. Oh, whoops. Not why. What the devil? Advanced move. Right, freeform. There we go. Move Y. So yeah, you could lower it down into the ground, bring it to ground level itself. Have to cover up the ends because obviously they look a bit bizarre. But you could easily sink it into the ground. Like that. But I'm not going to do that for this one. We'll just have them at the standard heights. Now, while we're having a look at this, this is the only feature about these that I don't like. We can only connect one dome or one log to a single tunnel entrance. And that's kind of disappointing for me. I would have liked the idea of having like a park where you just have domes in like a natural Site B like setting, where you have a single tunnel entrance, and then you have this, like the Hyperloop system, a system of tunnels all around the park, linking them all together. We can't do that with this, which is a bit disappointing. So that's the only downside. Apart from that, I really like having my viewing domes back. I have been asking for viewing domes back for ages. It was one of the attractions I wanted back most in Jurassic World Evolution 1. It's one of those attractions I used the most in Jurassic Park Operation Genesis. They're just so cool. I do want to do a few tests with the domes as well, with something else. But just so we can have a look at some of these other dinosaurs, let's make some Dinochirus. I'm just going to stick some food making stuff in here. Let's make our Dinochirus. There he is. I have noticed since the new update, there's been quite a lot of delayed sound effects coming through. So it looks like there's a few bugs. Dinochirus comes in batches of 4. It's a nice number. It's so fluffy. Very cool. So they require ground leaf to eat, which is fine. Didn't I read somewhere these can also eat fish? So they can also eat fish. So they're omnivorous, which is a nice touch again. I hope we get more omnivorous species, or they apply more omnivorous species to the game. So, by those domes, I want to do a quick test. Obviously, with the power of modding, I can build these things underwater. So, I'm going to build one of the logs and one of the domes. We're going to build some new entrances. Donk. And connect it up. We're going to stick a lagoon hatchery here. Shame we haven't got a new aquatic this the time round. I keep feeling like the aquatic animals don't get enough love in this game. They just don't. Right, I'm going to release them all. And now we're going to do our test. So, if I grab this and we do B to sink it down. Now, obviously, it's sometimes tricky, but let's go with that. And let's do the same over here. Again. Oh, it removed it. I think there. Right, let's have a look. Oh, that was too low. That was. I think that was too low, wasn't it? How about there? That's still too low. Out there? That does. That works. Oh, look at that. I actually think that looks really good underwater, actually. Surround that with a bit of coral. You know. Let's just make a let's do some quick. Maybe put a destroyed boat or two around it. I think that looks like a really cool exhibit idea. To have the log underneath the water level, looking out. Obviously, when you have a look at the view, it might look a little like your... That's so cool! It does look a little like your the water is inside the area, but you know, there are tolerances here, and I think that gives you some really great views. There's a lot of fun I think you could have with this. The log would rot, that's true, but you'd be surprised how long that would actually take. Especially if the water is quite dead of stuff to eat it. I think the dome is probably the best one to do this with. Just because you have so much space and so much light here. Now, having made that video very long ago, the first video I ever made that reached 1,000 views, where I used those Subnautica building bits to show how it would look, this is what I was after. You know, the option of being able to do stuff like this. Brilliant. Let's hope in the future that we get something actually in-game built like this that everyone can use, because this is going to be very cool with some of the bigger species. I mean, we've already got some really cool visuals here. Look at them. Hello, plesiosaurs. So, nice to see that works. Brilliant. And they are still connected. So it gives us some options. So those were the new attractions. I don't believe that we have anything new in terms of our guest structures, but I do want to just double check. Because this is me, and I actually like decorating my amenities. So, just having a quick run through to see if we have anything new. But doesn't look like it. Yeah, no. Nothing new, but that's fine. That's all good. Nothing new on the guest structures. UAK Dinokyrices? Oh, so fluffy tails. They're quite big as well, aren't they? I didn't realise how big Dinokyris actually were. Goodbye, Ascaris. Oh, they have a nice little tail flicking animation there. Quite like to see some of their social animations if we can catch one. Oh, are you two going to do it? Nope. Or are you two going to do it? No, you're all just going for a drink. Yes, Caleb, I have, and you can also divert them from one hatchery to another. So it's going to make building new aviaries much easier. I don't do killing. So this is the thing, Goofy Goof. I don't go for the whole dinosaur fighting, dinosaur killing stuff. So while they might have unique kill animations, I'm never going to see them because I don't play the game for that. Give them food as well. I don't want to see my dinosaurs die. I like seeing them like this. Is that scratching its belly? Yeah. Anyway, I know we have some not environmental stuff. Decorations. So nothing new there. So we now can build with every single tree. And this is going to be a big game changer. I'm going to build one of every single type of tree. Big tree, not the little flower bushes, but proper tree that we have in game. Because we're actually now going to have a huge range of vegetation to use. Just in terms of enclosure building, but also for decoration purposes. You know, we're going to be able to build some really... The return of the big bush. We can have the big bush on every map. Evo is going to use that so often. I mean, this was what basically Kyodenic's foliage mod did. So I would now argue that we no longer need it. Because there is not that many other types of vegetation. I mean, the one most common that I used from his mod were these beautiful orange trees. So I don't think I'll be reinstalling Kyodenic's tropical the tree mod. And obviously, it's not just the huge wealth of tree variety we now have. I mean, look at that variety. We have the big sequoias and redwoods. We have all the tropical plants, the palms, the coconut palms, the yuccas, the cactuses or cactusi, the really big bushy trees from the Mediterranean and the temperate area, the really beautiful golden orange red trees. We're just going to have so many more options now for decorating our enclosures and decorating our parks and making biomes and making gardens. It's going to be so cool. And it's not just that. I think the other thing that I think is maybe being overlooked by some folks is that it also means we're going to have better options with our planters, because we are now going to have the planter versions for each biome. Deserts are the same as Mediterranean. Tigers are the same. Temperate is different. Temperate, and then obviously the tropical. And I think this is also a game changer. You know, being able to have better versions of all of these buildings. Which is a nice touch for me. When the Dinochirus kills the carnivore, the theropod tries to run away and the Dinochirus chases, jumps on it, making them both fall, and then trying to get up, accidentally kicks the theropod and kills it. Brutal. Okay, other decorations. Nothing new in the fountains tab. I've been hearing a lot about there's apparently trash. I don't see it. There is no trash here. Oh. Oh, I see. So supply pile 1 is now trash, and supply pile 2 is now the standard. I'm not sure I liked that. I liked supply pile 1. I liked supply pile 1. Ah, oh well. I don't think they've changed anything else about the others, but interesting that they haven't changed. They haven't changed that. Also the crane. Crane looks normal to me. I don't see anything different about that. It's been retextured. Potentially? I'd have to check that. There is something I wanted to check. So the only downside is we're not getting versions of the lagoon decorations with all of the biome trees. That's a bit of a downer for me. I would have liked that. But, you know, I can live with just having all of the trees and just having the ground decorations. And I don't think there's anything else that's new. Although, just as a quick bug check, I know this looks weird, but bear with me. I want to do a bug check on something. Okay, so it does look like that potentially the lighting has been... I'm just creating some lights at will here just because I want to do some tests. Because one of the things that was broken in the last the Lagoon DLC was that the Lagoon lights didn't actually work through the windows. So I want to have a look and see if they fixed it. So in general, not really. Let's change the time of day. Whoops, that's a plesiosaur. Okay, so that actually does look better. So it does look like they have fixed the lagoon lighting problem as well. It's definitely better than it was. It's still not perfect, but it's definitely better than it was. And the thermal read, I think the flashbang. Oh, is the flashbang changed? Where's the flashbang thing? It looks normal to me. Thermal reader looks normal to me as well. They've always looked like that since they were added. I mean, doesn't look... I don't know. I don't see any difference there, personally. Release U Tyrannus. Okay, just considering we're coming up to the end of a stream, we were going for 2 hours. We will do some U Tyrannus enclosure. So, since we are coming up to the end of the stream, what do people think is the best feature that we've had added? What is the best... and by feature, I don't mean the dinosaurs by feature. I mean, what's the best new thing that they've done for the freebie, basically? What do people think? The insect feeder. There's a lot of potential with the insect feeder. I hope they make use of it. I can, however, see them not, but I do hope they make use of it with the other species. These come in packs of 5. Interesting. Interesting release animation. I think out of all of the dinosaurs, the U Tyrannus is potentially my favourite. It's nice to have another... I mean, this is on the lower end of the mid-sized carnivore range. Similar in size to Metriacanthosaurus and Ceratosaurus. It's nice to have another big-ish carnivore. Nothing too huge, nothing... He just gave him a nudge from behind. That was rude. Let's give them something to eat, shall we? Yeah, that bar is really in the way. Especially for U Tyrannus. He's kind of not big enough to look over the bar. We will keep an eye out for the goat kill. Where is the goat? Where is the goat? To quote Lex. Oh, there is the goat. Actually, shall we get rid of... We'll get rid of that, so they have to... Low health. What's on low health? Oh, the plesiosaurs. Oh, that's fine. They can starve. That's fine. It's not a biggie. I'm going to stick on fast forward just to get them to get hungry enough to go and eat the goat. Transport rating low. Who cares? Come on, carnivores, get a little peckish. Oh, here we go. Ooh. Interesting. So it grabs it by the head, breaks its neck, and then swallows it whole. Interesting. Shall we try and get another one in slow-mo? Come on, if one of you is peckish, another one of you must be. this one's just playing a very dangerous game, I think. No, you want to sleep. Lazy carnivores. You gonna go after it? Oh no, you're gonna go after it. I mean, I think they still need to work on their dinosaur animations a bit, because he was running from a mile away. Oh! He's missed him. Oh, did we see that horrible turn? Eugh. Grabs it by the neck. That's the neck snapping there. Ooh. Ooh. There's no way he'd be able... The swallowing whole thing? Absolutely no way. Like, a dinosaur this big would probably have to put it down on the ground and tear it apart. So the eating whole is a bit unrealistic, but... That's a very brutal animation. Hello, Eva. Didn't realize you were still here. What are you doing? Just showing off of the... That moonwalking. Oh dear. They really do have a problem with moonwalking still. Not still here. Here again. Ah. I think you might have missed me talking about how me and you and others are going to probably adore the square maps, but I actually think they're actually going to be quite difficult for normal people to use, just because they're so big and empty. Tyrannus was genetically made with no gag reflex. Oh, Goofy, that's... a very questionable thing to say in chat. I think we're all going to be playing with 12 FPS eventually. Agreed. Definitely. It's nice to be able to move pterosaurs from one aviary block to another. It's just going to make it easier to build for those who want to not have loads of little hatcheries everywhere. And since you're here, Evo, being able to, I'm gonna feel bad. I'm gonna feel bad for starving my pterosaurs to death. I'm gonna have to give them food. There we go. I'm gonna enjoy being able to build my domes under the sea, because we are getting some really glorious views. Where have they all gone? Lots of views of tuna. Have they all just starved to death? No, they're still alive. Lovely. At least one's alive. One is alive. Now make them fight. Goofy. I don't build fighting parks. You want to talk to Dinosaur King if you want that. Dinosaur King loves making his animals fight to the death. I think 3 of them... Oh no, they are all still alive. Yeah, it's a shame they didn't make the dome applicable to the lagoon. Yeah, the lagoons need more love, and I think this is what it comes down to. It's nice having feathered dinosaurs, and it's nice having trees. Although we still don't have the Tree of Life, so until we have the Tree of Life, they're still only getting 1 star from me until they have the Tree of Life back. But it's nice to have all these bits and bobs. But the lagoon animals are still... The lagoons and the lagoon animals are so bare bones still. We don't have any attractions for them apart from the galleries. We don't have any unique animations for the lagoon creatures themselves. That's a little too much negative for me after we've just had an amazing update. It is an amazing update. I love all that it does. But taking it in balance, the lagoons are still with They have fixed the lagoon lighting problem, by the way, Evo. Or at least hang on, let's switch it back to dark. It definitely looks like the colors are coming through better now. I don't know whether it's just me and placebo effect, but the colors definitely seem a bit clearer. So I think they have fixed the lighting problem, even though it wasn't listed on the patch notes. Add a red light. Add a red light. Add red. Well, if the red lights are really close, they come through orange, but the red light in the back doesn't come through at all. So the red light is still broken by the looks of it. Oh well. There's always something broken. We'll get there. I wonder how these are gonna look in the dark, actually. They look quite nice. The log one looks quite ominous and eerie because there's no lighting inside. But it does look really cool. I love that. And you could definitely have... There was a fish that just phased through my... Oh no, I'm phasing through a person. That's not good. I like this though. And you could... I would probably like do a string of these logs across the bottom of a lagoon. Just connect them all up and have it as like one long tunnel through. That would be quite cool. I'm wondering, like, I suppose you could also, if you really wanted to, you could just have the dome on the... You could just have the viewing dome on the surface. I mean, it floats, so you'd have to manually build a structure around it, or just sink it down to sort of... Ooh, that was a bit too much. Oh dear. It's quite difficult to... Have to get closer. Is that too much? Yeah. There you go. Sink it a little closer to the ground. Build some like rocks or stuff around it. And you could probably have like this for viewing the mosasaur exhibit or the Kronosaurus jump, which would be quite cool. You could also probably let's like grab... I'm just messing around now. I just want to see what things look like if we kind of combine them together. If we grab an amenity, probably a medium one is probably not big enough. Maybe a large? And maybe switch the tops to maybe that one. And then you could probably... Oh wow, they're actually huge.
It will be a short stream, he says.
Sorry.
It will only be an hour, he says.
They're actually bigger than I expected. Actually, looking at them next door to like the amenities, these are actually huge. But if you fiddled around with it a bit, you could have them, you know, as part of an amenities building. Just about the logs. The viewing dome might be harder to do because it is quite big. Dome. Let's grab the dome. Yeah, but I mean, as if you didn't mind, if you did something to make that overhang a little less obvious, I don't know, maybe like change the upstairs to that, and then grab some decorations. Where are those pillars? Pillars. We need something like a pillar. And let's shift one up. Bit far. Maybe there. That works. Maybe another one. Here. Well, that was a bit low. But you get my point. Like, if you were willing to take a little bit of time to mess around and make them look part of the actual structure, that gives us some really interesting opportunities for building interesting areas, I think. I suppose what you could also do is you could try to build like an artificial, like JPOG style viewing tower. Need something that's tall enough to do it with. Maybe just have one in the dead center. Ah, of course, it has to connect, doesn't it? Okay, what about if we did like one there and one there? I mean, it's not perfect, but you know, there are tolerances. I could tolerate that. I mean, if you wanted to be more ridiculously intrinsic, you could like... Not intrinsic. No. Really high on the decoration piece count, you could just combine the smaller pillars, or maybe even use the floodlights? Or the security cameras? We have lots of pillar-like objects that you could use. See, that would be perfect, but obviously we've got that annoying box on the top. Ooh, actually, that would work. Hang on. There you go. Combine... That doesn't look like it's in the dead center. There. Combine the that with this. It looks a bit weird from the bottom because you've got nothing underneath. So you might need to disguise the underneath. But from the top and from the sides, that kind of works. Put a few bushes around. And you could make a kind of JPOG style viewing tower. Make the Dinosaurs fight the Scorpius Rex. No, there's no fighting in my parks. I'm messing around with building. So yeah, these pieces give a lot of options to me. I'm going to have great fun building my parks with them. But as Dane pointed out, it has come up to the 2-hour mark. So I'm going to leave it there for... I didn't. The plesiosaurs are still alive, Goofy. I built some food for them. Look. They're all alive still. I built food for them after all. But yeah, I'm going to end the stream here, folks. Thank you for joining in and listening to my thoughts on the new patch and the new DLC. Now I have the PC back, there will be more content coming. There's a couple of videos that I want to make in the next few days. Or at least one video I need to edit. One video I need to make. We should be streaming on Sunday as normal. And we will be playing this and starting a new park. So I will hopefully see you guys there. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all the usual YouTube stuff if you have not already. And if you're watching this after the fact and have not yet subscribed, please consider doing so. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, stay safe and good night, everyone.